1937, technetium, at atomic number 43, is discovered as the first radioactive element. January 20, 1937, Franklin D. Roosevelt is re-elected for a second term. January 26, 1937, Michigan celebrates its 100th anniversary. February 11, 1937, a sit-down strike ends. March 18, 1937, New London school explosion occurs. April 1, 1937, Aden becomes a British Crown colony. April 12, 1937, the Supreme Court of the United States rules that the National Labor Relations Act is constitutional. May 6, 1937, the Hindenburg disaster occurs. May 8, 1937, Wydad Athletic Club is established in Casablanca, Morocco. May 27, 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opens as the landmark of California. June 14, 1937, Pennsylvania becomes the first of the United States to celebrate Flag Day officially as a state holiday. July 2, 1937, Amelia Earhart disappear after taking off from New Guinea. July 5, 1937, the canned pre-cooked meat product Spam is introduced by the Hormel Company in the United States. July 11, 1937, George Gershwin dies in Los Angeles. August 2, 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act introduced to U.S. Congress. August 9, 1937, the Polish operation of the NKVD is signed by Nikolai Yezhov. August 13, 1937, the Battle of Shanghai opens. September 17, 1937, Lincoln's head is appeared in Mount Rushmore as the landmark of South Dakota. September 27, 1937, the last Bali tiger dies. October 1, 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act becomes law in the United States. November 6, 1937, Italy joins the Anti-Comintern Pact. November 11, 1937, the Kogushi sulfur mine collapse occurred in western Gunma, Japan. December 1, 1937, the Battle of Nanking begins. December 11, 1937, Italy withdraws from the League of Nations. December 13, 1937, the Battle of Nanking ends. December 21, 1937, Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premieres at the Carthay Circle Theatre in Los Angeles. December 22, 1937, the Lincoln Tunnel opens to traffic in New York City. December 29, 1937, the Irish Free State changed its name to Ireland. January 3, 1938, the March of Dimes is established as a foundation. January 27, 1938, the Niagara Bridge at Niagara Falls, New York collapses due to an ice jam. March 3, 1938, Saudi Arabian oil is discovered in Saudi Arabia. March 15, 1938, Soviet Union announces officially that Nikolai Bukharin has been executed. May 14, 1938, Chile withdraws from the League of Nations. June 15, 1938, László Bíró patents the ballpoint pen in Britain. June 23, 1938, the Civil Aeronautics Act is signed into law and the Marineland opens near St. Augustine, Florida. July 1938, the Mauthausen concentration camp is built in Austria. July 1, 1938, the South African Press Association is established. August 18, 1938, the Thousand Islands Bridge is dedicated. October 10, 1938, the Blue Water Bridge opens. October 24, 1938, the minimum wage is established by law in the United States. November 7, 1938, Ernst Murat is assassinated by Herschel Grimspan. November 16, 1938, Britain formally recognizes Italy's control of Ethiopia. November 30, 1938, Corneliu Zilikhodrianu is murdered. December 13, 1938, the Neuengamme concentration camp opens near Hamburg. December 17, 1938, Otto Hahn discovers the nuclear fission of uranium. 1939, francium, at atomic number 89, is discovered, which Marvel Comics is founded in New York City. That was the same year when the middle green crayon is discontinued. January 5, 1939, Amelia Earhart is officially dead after her disappearance. January 24, 1939 to 1939, Chilean earthquake occurs. February 2, 1939, Hungary joins the Anti-Comintern Pact. February 10, 1939, Pope Pius XI dies of a heart attack in Rome. February 18, 1939, the Golden Gate International Exposition opens in San Francisco. March 1939, the 1936-39 Arab revolt in Palestine ends. March 2, 1939, Pope Pius XII succeeds Pope Pius XI as the 260th Pope. March 3, 1939, Mahatma Gandhi begins a fast protesting against British rule in India. March 23, 1939, the Slovak-Hungarian War begins. April 1, 1939, the Spanish Civil War comes to an end. April 4, 1939, the Slovak-Hungarian War ends with Slovakia. April 11, 1939, Hungary leaves the League of Nations. April 25, 1939, the Federal Security Agency is founded in the United States. April 30, 1939, the 1939 New York World's Fair opens. May 9, 1939, Spain leaves the League of Nations. May 18, 1939, the Ho-How religious sect is established by Heinfuso. May 22, 1939, Germany and Italy sign the Pact of Steel. June 24, 1939, the government of Siam changes its name to Thailand. July 2, 1939, the first World Science Fiction Convention opens in New York City. August 2, 1939, the Einstein-Szilard letter is signed. September 1, 1939, the beginning of World War II. September 17, 1939, the Soviet Union invades Poland. September 28, 1939, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union agree on a division of Poland. November 16, 1939, Al Capone is released from Alcatraz. November 30, 1939, Winter War occurs. December 14, 1939, the League of Nations expels the USSR for attacking Finland. December 26, 1939, miners strike in Borinage, Belgium. December 27, 1939, the 1939 Erzincan earthquake shakes eastern Turkey. 1940, astatine, at atomic number 85, and neptunium, at atomic number 93, were discovered. April 12, 1940, the Faroe Islands are occupied by British troops. 6, 1940, the International Olympic Committee formally cancels the 1940 Summer Olympics. May 10, 1940, Battle of France, Battle of the Netherlands, Battle of Belgium, and the invasion of Luxembourg all began. June 14, 1940, Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Naval Expansion Act into law. June 15, 1940, the Soviet Union occupies Lithuania. June 17, 1940, the Soviet Union occupies Estonia and Latvia. June 22, 1940, the Battle of France in the Forest of Compiègne ends. August 3, 1940, the Soviet Union annexed Lithuanian SSR. August 5, 1940, the Soviet Union annexed Latvian SSR. August 6, 1940, the Soviet Union annexed Estonian SSR. August 21, 1940, Leon Trotsky dies. September 27, 1940, Germany, Italy and Japan sign the Tripartite Pact. October 16, 1940, Nazi Governor-General Hans Frank established the Warsaw Ghetto. November 10, 1940 to 1940, Varanasi earthquake occurs. November 13, 1940, Walt Disney's Fantasia is released. December 30, 1940, California's first modern freeway, the future State Route 110, opens to traffic in Pasadena, California. January 10, 1941, the Lend-Lease Act is introduced into the United States Congress. January 20, 1941, Franklin D. Roosevelt is re-elected for a third term. February 4, 1941, the United Service Organization is created. February 5, 1941, the Air Training Corps is formed in the United Kingdom. February 23, 1941, plutonium, at atomic number 94, is discovered. March 1, 1941, Bulgaria signs the Tripartite Pact. March 8, 1941, the U.S. Senate passes the Lend-Lease Act. March 11, 1941, Franklin D. Roosevelt signs the Lend-Lease Act into law. April 13, 1941, Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact signed. May 1, 1941, Cheerios is introduced as by General Mills. May 19, 1941, the Viet Minh is formed. May 20, 1941, the Battle of Crete begins. May 27, 1941, the Swiss Socialist Federation is banned. June 24, 1941, the Soviet Information Bureau is founded. July 1941, the British Army's Special Air Service is formed. July 14, 1941, Vichy France signs armistice terms. July 25, 1941, introduction of postal codes in Germany. August 16, 1941, HMS Royal Navy Signals School and Combined Signals School opens at Leiden, near Petersfield, Hampshire, England. September 12, 1941, construction on the Pentagon begins in Washington, D.C. September 22, 1941, the town of Reshetilivka in the Soviet Union is occupied. October 1, 1941, the Nazi German Majdanek concentration camp opens in occupied Poland. October 18, 1941, General Hideki Tojo becomes the 40th Prime Minister of Japan. November 12, 1941, the Battle of Moscow begins. December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor attacks. December 8, 1941 at 8 a.m., the Battle of Hong Kong begins. December 13, 1941, Sweden's low temperature record at -53 degrees Celsius is set. December 21, 1941, Stanisławów Ghetto is established. December 23, 1941, the second Japanese landing attempt was successful. December 25, 1941, the Battle of Hong Kong ends. 1942, Promethium, at atomic number 61, is discovered. January 7, 1942, the siege of the Bataan Peninsula begins. January 13, 1942, Henry Ford patents the plastic automobile. January 23, 1942, the Battle of Rabaul begins. February 8, 1942, daylight savings time goes into effect in the U.S. February 26, 1942, the 14th Academy Awards ceremony is held in Los Angeles, California. March 1942, construction begins on the Badger Army ammunition plant. July 30, 1942, women accepted for volunteer emergency services signed. July 31, 1942, the Oxford Committee for Famine Relief is founded. August 13, 1942, the Quit Indian Resolution is passed. September 15, 1942, Women's Flying Training Detachment is established. October 28, 1942, the Alaska Highway is completed. November 21, 1942, the completion of the Alaska Highway is celebrated. December 27, 1942, the Union of Pioneers in Yugoslavia is founded.